Straight ahead on the Valley today, targeted by racist and hateful graffiti. Communities step forward in support of members of a local mosque. Plus, summer mosquito fighters, they're wasting no time going after the summer pest, starting spraying today. We have a live report on their efforts. Also coming up, Addie's Angels, a grieving couple honors the child they lost by helping families who are hurting. But first, new this morning, charges they're pending against a motorcycle driver after the death of his passenger at a railroad crossing. The Highway Patrol says 42-year-old Harry Hughes Jr. of Minot was driving the cycle in Minot last night when he approached a crossing with the lighted arms down. Both he and the woman hit their heads on the crossing arm and were then thrown from the motorcycle. She died and Hughes was treated for minor injuries. The victim's name is not yet released, but troopers do say she was 42 years old. Also new this morning, Minnesota State troopers say alcohol was a factor in a near head-on crash in northern Minnesota involving a man from the FM Metro. Troopers say 32-year-old Jacob Primo of Horace swerved to avoid being hit head-on near Cass Lake, Minnesota around 11 last night after a driver crossed the center line of Highway 2. The other driver ended up smashing through the utility trailer that Primo was pulling and then hitting a tree. Primo was not hurt, but the other driver had injuries and had been drinking. The family of a 42-year-old black man who was shot by sheriff's deputies in North Carolina, they're preparing to view body cam video of the deadly incident later today. Andrew Brown Jr. was killed while deputies were carrying out a search and arrest warrant last Wednesday. 7 sheriff's deputies tied to that incident have now been placed on leave. New York City's hate crime task force is investigating a brutal attack on an Asian man that left him in critical condition. And a warning this morning, the surveillance video is disturbing to watch. The video released by police shows the man getting kicked repeatedly in the head Friday in East Harlem. The 61-year-old man was collecting cans when he was then attacked from behind. Cleanup, it's planned for 1 o'clock this afternoon at an Islamic mosque in Moorhead after someone spray-painted racial slurs and hateful messages on the outside of the building. It was discovered early Sunday morning. As word of the vandalism spread, community members and started showing up to help with cleaning and to support the mosque. But they were told that cleanup, it will have to happen today to give Moorhead PD and the FBI some time to conduct their investigation. Moorhead PD and the FBI are now looking for this person right there who was caught on security camera around 11 Saturday night. The cities of Fargo, West Fargo, Horace, Dilworth, and Moorhead, they put out a unified statement denouncing these criminal acts. It is now 6:51 on this Monday morning. We want to get a check of that forecast, waking up to another kind of gloomy day. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Yes, it's gray out there, but we are going to warm things up a little bit. It won't be as chilly as you step out the door here later this afternoon, we'll say. Here's a look at the conditions right now. We've been watching some rain come down at the Dakota Magic Casino in the southern end of the valley. Looks like it's easing up a little bit, but the road surface still wet at this point in time, and there are some places getting some good rain as we speak. Here's a look at our radar, and not just rain, also some thunder shower activity going on as well. We are in the end of April after all. It's getting to be that time of year. And as we take a closer look here, you can see it's in our western counties and in southeastern North Dakota, focused in first of all on this little thunder shower that's making its way right along the state line here. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more. Each one of these lightning bolts, a couple of them here on this storm, indicates a lightning strike. So this is right along the state line, moving from Marshall County in South Dakota over to, it's moving a little north as it moves eastward, so it'll cross over the state line into southern Richland County here soon today. There are other areas where you see we've got some moderate rainfall coming down central Richland County back over to Lisbon and then back up toward the James River Valley. You can see some pink there. Temperatures in Valley City, Jamestown at or near freezing. So it's chilly out there this morning as this continues to move in. And you can see in Fargo, it's right on our doorstep if we're not already seeing some of those showers here this morning. Visibility down where the rain is falling. Oaks is down to 2.5 miles for visibility. We're at 6 in Gwinner. Over in Elbow Lake, we're at 4 miles right now. And again, temperatures are cold. It's 32 degrees in Valley City. It's 36 in Fargo and 33 in Jamestown. The difference is those temperatures will be on the rise here today. We're going to see winds into the teens at times. Some of us already seeing that out of the east or southeast. So let's take a look at our hourly planner. Chances for rain continue today, but temperatures will climb. We'll end up into right around 50 degrees. Some of us below, some of us above. It'll be milder to the west here today. And when we just build off of that as we head through the week. So a little gray tomorrow, but we'll be a little bit milder. And then we just rise all the way toward the end of the week and see that chance at 70 return. So that's something to look forward to as you're trudging through the weather today.
Trudging, an accurate description of how I feel with our gloomy and rainy weather we've had the last 2 days. Lisa, thank you this morning. It is now 6:53. An American is sexually assaulted every 73 seconds. That's according to the National Sexual Assault Hotline. It also says 1 out of 6 women will be sexually assaulted at some point in her life. One woman is now sharing her story in hopes of inspiring others caught in a bad situation. Out of 1,000 adults, 995 perpetrators, they'll walk free. And Valerie Valentino says it's dangerous not to have accountability.
If more women aren't afraid to speak up and tell the truth, and more men will think twice before abusing us.
If you or someone you know is in a similar situation and in need of help, we do have resources online. You can find them on the VNL News app or valleynewslive.com. Police in the FM Metro have now backed each other up for quite a few years, but a new Minnesota law earlier this year brought that to a sudden halt. Cass County Sheriff Jesse Johnner says it needs to start happening again. He is asking Governor Tim Walz for an amendment to the deadly force statute in the interest of public and officer safety. The new rule in Minnesota requires all officers to receive specific training and education before they can be involved in calls in the state. But officers were only given an 11-day heads up, which left agencies with little time to train. Since the statute took hold, Fargo and West Fargo police, along with the Cass County Sheriff's Office, suspended all operations in Minnesota. A North Dakota teenager is dead after an accidental shooting from over the weekend. The Towner County Sheriff's Office responded to a call just after midnight Saturday in Candu, north of Devil's Lake. Deputies say 15-year-old Logan Corday was taking a rifle from the trunk of his car when it went off and hit him in the abdomen. Corday was a freshman at North Star Public School in Candu. A separate accidental shooting over the weekend sent another man to the hospital in Grand Forks. It happened around 8 Saturday night in the 2400 block of South 34th Street. Police say someone was trying to put a lock on a trigger when the gun went off. That gun was in the trunk of a car, and the bullet went through the side of the trunk and then hit a man in the leg. The man who was shot was taken to an area hospital for treatment. The Pentagon is deploying a pair of B-52 Stratofortress bombers from the Minot Air Force Base to the Middle East to help with security during the drawdown of troops in Afghanistan. The Air Force says the flight crews, they arrived in Qatar on Friday. Earlier this month, President Joe Biden announced the U.S. will withdraw all forces from Afghanistan by September 11th. That's the 20-year mark of the 9/11 terror attacks. It's every parent's worst nightmare after losing a child they carried to term. A Fargo couple is now sharing their story and starting an organization to help grieving families all over the valley. Addie's Angels has counselors in Fargo, Grand Forks, and Wahpeton Breckenridge, and they also now offer online services.
How can we honor our daughter moving forward? And that's when the conversation really started. Once we had the funeral, once we were able to just start really thinking of how we can start doing things to give back to our community, that's when Addie's Angels, the name, actually started to form.
For more information about Addie's Angels, download the VNL News app. Cass County Vector Control is heading out with sprayers later today for the first attack of summer's worst pests. We're talking about those mosquitoes. In the Valley today's Brian Sherrod. He joins us live with what to expect as we head on into mosquito season. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Jordan. You know, Cass County, or Vector Controls Cass County, is going to be doing it all over the West Fargo and Fargo areas. And they're also letting us know that they're going to be having over 100 different things of equipment and 40 employees just going around spraying for larval, which is mosquito eggs. Now also letting you know that they're going to be starting today and going into the first week of October, and you'll be able to see them spraying areas like ponds and ditches and like the Red River around the area with that standing water to just make sure we're not going to have an issue this season. Now, they're going to be using bacterial insecticides that only impacts mosquitoes, gnats, black flies, and midges. It attacks your digestive system and is non-toxic to animals and humans. Now, over the season, you can see ground, truck, and aerial spraying. and it's important to have the mosquito population controlled, especially spraying between 10 to 15 times a season.
Do cover, in excess of 100 square miles of standing water or potential standing water. Mosquitoes can fly long distances, 10, 15, 20 miles that we've observed here in Cass County. So we reach out as far as we can.
So make sure you're having your boats cleaned off, get rid of that standing water in your yard, and if you have that old kiddie pool, get rid of that because you don't want standing water in there as well. They're going to be doing their surveillance weekly.
All right, Brian Sherrod reporting live. I know it might seem early, but yeah, those bugs, they come out before we like them to. Reporting live. Thank you, Brian. Both NDSU and UND are moving forward in the college football playoffs after wins over the weekend. The Bison rallied from a 2-touchdown deficit to defeat Eastern Washington 42-20 on Saturday. They scored 35 unanswered points, with the bulk of the work being done on the ground. The Bison finished with 422 yards on the ground as 2 running backs crossed the 100-yard mark. The UND Fighting Hawks, they also dominated. They defeated Missouri State as quarterback Tommy Schuster threw 223 yards and a pair of touchdowns. The defense sacked Missouri State's quarterback 8 times, and they also finished the day with a pick 6. NDSU now advances to Huntsville, Texas, where they play Sam Houston State Sunday at 2. The Fighting Hawks, they're headed to Virginia next for a matchup with James Madison. We now want to get the answer to our question of the morning on Facebook. That question today is, this spring we will throw out 37 million of these. The answer, mismatched Tupperware. So hard when I can't believe it's not butter and the country crock tops don't all fit with each other. The Today Show on CBS This Morning just about to start. We roll on. Join us on the Fargo CW for more Valley Today.